This is the Zhiyun Cinepeer Frame 4E camera stabilizer. Now, Zhiyun have been known for some time for their Gimbal and frame gimbals. These more budget-friendly Cinepeer models follow in the footsteps of those earlier iterations with what appear to be minor changes. So we have the Cinepeer Gimbal 3E that updates the Gimbal 3, and this frame 4E is essentially the latest iteration, if you guessed it, the frame 4, which has been around for about a year or so. Briefly, because I don't have the earlier frame 4 models to compare, the differences appear to be minimal. First, with the Cinepeer Frame 4E, we don't get the hard carrying case that comes with the Frame 4, just a cardboard box with styrofoam insert. That's not a big problem for me. When I use the 4E, I'm likely to be traveling with my roller case so I can keep the whole rig fully assembled. This 4E doesn't have the 10-watt LED fill lights or balance indicator lights, but that's really not something that I'd fret about. Otherwise, as far as I can tell, the 4E is pretty much identical, except for the color scheme. The Frame 4 is all black, but I kinda like the look of this model. As others have said, it has a kind of Star Wars Stormtrooper vibe. The 4E is just slightly lighter at 1630 grams without the tripod, rather than the 1673 grams of the Frame 4. That's just 43 grams lighter, but really, my strongly post-op arms will take the saving. So yeah, most everything else is the same. The Cinepeer Frame 4E, this price is $499 US, but with a 20% discount, it's available at the time of making this video for just $399. Full disclosure, Zhiyun sent me the Cinepeer Frame 4E and the Master Move accessories in exchange for this review, but that's the extent of my obligation. These are my own observations. No one vetted this video or influenced my opinions. This is a pretty heavy-duty unit with high torque motors that'll support some fairly large cameras and lens combos. And speaking of heavy duty, the build of this thing looks to be robust and professional. The arms are metal and they look sturdy. On the bottom, we have a 4-20 threaded hole for the included tripod or to attach to a support rig. More on that later, but I should note that there's no secondary threaded hole or accommodation for an anti-twist pin. I'll drop a basic camera compatibility chart in a sidebar here and more comprehensive lists linked in the description. In my case, this is perfect for my 910 gram, 2 pound Nikon Z8 camera, and the 630 gram, 1 pound 6.3 ounce 24-120 f4S zoom that I'm using here. When it comes to controls, the Frame 4E includes Bluetooth shutter control. We can start and stop recording by simply pressing the start button. It has a customizable control wheel. It has a large capacity 2600 mAh battery. PD fast charging will get you a fully charged unit in just 2 hours, and it also supports simultaneous charging and usage. As far as expansion options, the Frame 4E supports the simultaneous installation of 2 servo zoom focus motors, providing precise focusing and zoom-in effects. Paired with the Transmount Image Transmission Series accessories, it enables adjustments of focus and zoom functions. But I'll leave it there if you want to look into that, since I don't have those accessories at hand. As I mentioned, this model also accommodates the Frame 4 Master Move accessories, this handle and wrist support, which I think are worth the investment. These mount on integrated rosettes. The wrist support in particular really does relieve a lot of downward pressure, and the handle equally helps stabilize the stabilizer. And these will, beyond that 43 gram weight saving, as I said, really take a lot of pressure off your arms and your back. The basic mounting of your camera is fairly straightforward, the same as any of these stabilizers. The initial balancing procedure is much easier than some reviews suggest. Now, you won't get much help from the included manual, but there's a more complete user guide online, and I'll link that in the description along with purchase links. Setup is straightforward enough. First, add the supplied upper quick release plate to your camera. In turn, add the upper plate to the longer lower plate. Then, install the quick release plate and camera on the quick release plate leveling base and tighten the clamp. There's a lens support for longer lenses and backing plate if you need to balance the camera. Then it's just a matter of balancing the horizontal tilt axis, the vertical tilt axis, and the roll axis. As I say, I found this procedure to be quite straightforward and balanced my cameras in less than 5 minutes. Before you start up the stabilizer, make sure to unlock all the axes. If you don't, the unit will beep at you. I admit I've made this mistake a couple of times. Once you have things dialed in, use the auto calibration function to fine-tune, to change from landscape to portrait, horizontal to vertical orientation by simply unlocking the quick release plate and sliding it onto the tilt axis on. Of course, then you'll need to rebalance the camera. I'll cover a few more, by no means all, of the functions and features of this stabilizer to give you an idea of how versatile and powerful it is. And then we should get out of the studio to create some live examples of footage made with the Frame 4E. Let's have a quick look at the controls. First, the touchscreen. There's mode, balance, info, and settings. For mode, we can cycle through the modes: pan follow mode, PF, lock mode, L, POV mode, POV, follow mode, F, hill mode, GO, vortex mode, V, and portrait mode. Balance, you can check and view the balance status of 3 gimbal axes in real time. Info, 1, language, switch to the language of the touchscreen, simplified Chinese, English. This is where you choose your preferred language at setup. 2, device info, see the device information such as device name, device, model, serial number, firmware version. 3 is factory reset, and you tap that to reset the gimbal. Settings. If the camera is supported, quote, with Bluetooth shutter control, users can capture or stop recording by simply pressing the record button. Or you can use the supplied USB-C cable. On the side there's a built-in control wheel for adjustment of various camera settings such as shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. As noted, it weighs 1.63 kilograms without the tripod, but what can you expect from a rigged out unit? Well, with the Z8 as an example, battery and card on board of course, and the master move kit and tripod, the total weight is 3.81 kilos or 8.66 pounds. So, that's not an insignificant load, is it? Which is why the handle and wrist support is so important. I think it's absolutely essential. But if I were anticipating using this system for an extended period, some kind of body support vest and rig would be useful. So Zhiyun says the Frame 4E can carry large cameras, Its payload is 4.5 kilograms, and that's been my experience with the Z8 and the Z9 too. On my first trial excursion, I was determined to give it a good workout, so I took it to one of my favorite haunts, the steep Sioux River Canyon, to see how it performed on some very steep stone steps. So it's not super smooth, but really that can't be blamed on the 4E as much as my poor technique. So I think the motion here is pretty natural. To be honest, my use case is more likely to see me using the frame 4E on less challenging grounds, and to just create smooth movements in interiors. I can't claim to be an expert user, but the Zhiyun frame 4E will certainly be a useful tool in my bag or roller case. I'll be practicing my ninja war and manipulating those built-in controls. Long way to go there, but it's great to have them at my fingertips. I'd be interested to know how many people use or would have used for a stabilizer like this. Let us know in the comments and what you think of this new addition to Zhiyun's lineup. So I hope you found this useful. If you did, please give it the old thumbs up, and if this is your first visit, please do consider subscribing to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss new content. In the meantime, take care, cheers, we'll see you later.